Boy, things have sure changed since they first built this place in 1961. But look at this old Sears at the Buena Park Mall. We're back at the site of my very first job. Not this amazing, beautiful, old, abandoned, mid-century Sears building right here, but the parking lot outside. We're headed to Disneyland in a second because Christmas time has begun out there. But since I'm feeling nostalgic for Christmas, and I was gonna make a nearby stop anyways, I thought, why not take a trip down memory lane to this beautiful piece of tarmac, this asphalt, where I had my first job that wasn't like construction, where I was getting a job through a friend of a friend or something like that. I was a tip boy right out here in the parking lot at a Christmas tree lot. That was sort of, I don't know, partnering with Sears or the Buena Park Mall or whatever. I was the guy that would cut off the very end of the tree, stick it into a stand, tie it on the roof of your car. We worked for tips. We had big red hats that said tip boy on them. Almost nobody actually did tips, so we didn't go home with a lot of money. But that was my first ever job that I ever had to apply for and get hired by a stranger. Freezing my butt off out here, which is why when I think of Christmas, I always think of this parking lot. And there's no Christmas tree lot out here today, but look at this. Look what they do have. Some sort of little market going on with food trucks and booths and stalls, absolutely free. Look at this, they got a booth that says build your own trucker hat. Mr. Gramps cheesecakes. I wanted to say this is the farmer's market, but if it is the farmer's market, they're not growing a lot of crops in Buena Park anymore. Just DJs. Look at him over there, DJing his little heart out. He got a bouncy house for the kids. It's all going off in Buena Park today. Now, as fun as that bouncy house looks, and as interesting as the little marketplace is, another Christmas market just half a block away, right on some land where they did actually used to grow crops. Knott's Berry Farm has become Knott's Merry Farm. Merry Christmas, everybody. The Christmas season has officially begun in Southern California, and I've got to soak up as much of it as I can because I'm not going to be in Southern California for very much longer. I'll be heading out of state very shortly for a very non-traditional Christmas, let's put it that way. I don't have to pack my swim trunks because I'm heading to Florida. Just like the McAllisters in Home Alone 2. Let's just hope I don't get lost in New York on the way, huh? Knott's Merry Farm is great. Crazy Kirk and the Hillbillies are getting ready for a show inside the wagon camp. The man at the geode shop is working overtime. And Ghost Town has been taken over by that Christmas marketplace. Oh, and look at this perfect timing. We just walked into Ghost Town, and I believe any second, the snow is going to fall. That or they might have just lit up the Christmas tree. We'll see. Either way, the lights have just arrived out here, illuminating the yearly selection of plush creatures, including this plush buffalo, the traditional Knott's Merry Farm Christmas rats. So much to choose from, and this is just the first booth. Oh, and by the way, I was corrected. These are Highland cows. Where the heck else are you gonna get a plush Christmas Highland cow from, huh? Every year I say I'm gonna buy one of those Christmas rats, and every year I don't. This year I gotta try. Look at this. We got the Christmas bubble wands are back. I think people are starting to gather for the snow. Clearly that was just the Christmas tree lighting ceremony. First snow of the night has not fallen quite yet. As you can see, Knott's Merry Farm is busy. It is the first official weekend of Knott's Merry Farm. And as I stand out here, it's the first Sunday. So a lot of people have packed Main Street in Ghost Town hoping to see the first snowfall of their Christmas season. And up, here it comes. The lights are turning blue. They're playing Somewhere in My Memory by John Williams from Home Alone, speaking of. And look at, there it is. A cheer has gone up in the streets of Ghost Town. Christmas snow is falling. Okay, it's theme park snow, but unless you're gonna drive 3 or 4 hours up into the mountains, it's pretty much the only snow we get down here. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. If only Walter Knott could have lived to see this. All right, let's see what we have here. Do we have any customized purses that looks like books? Look at that. There we go. Beautiful. All right, what do we have here? Do we have some custom purses that look like books? I think we do. A little bit of jewelry, a couple of book purses, a gorgeous snowfall, a Snoopy hat. It's the magic of Christmas. Even old Betsy's covered in the white stuff. This is getting me in the spirit, I've got to admit. Getting me in the spirit of the holidays. I mean, for me lately, it's been more like Halloween never stopped, right? With all the issues I've had going on. And besides medical stuff, there's been a lot of hot sauce. But my main objective today was to have a day wandering around without thinking of any of those things, and so that's the last I'll mention of it. Oh, look at this, there might be no room. Oh, look at this, there might be no room at the inn in Ghost Town, but there is a little room in the manger. They flung the stable doors open. Look at that beautiful horse right there, just checking everybody out. We're thinking, City kids are thinking, how unusual, a horse. And he's thinking, how unusual, look at all the freaks coming in here. Hey, oh, look at this. Brutus the donkey's in here, meeting and greeting all his fans. He's a cute donkey, not the friendliest donkey in the world. But I just like seeing a fellow ass in the theme park. That's another word for donkey, by the way. You can get away with that one, kids. Yeah, looks like we got some goats in here. I feel like I'm back in Yuba City already. Pretty awesome. Let's see what else we can see real quick. Got a whole booth full of 3D printed trinkets over here in front of the Calico Gazette. All our little custom crocheted creatures have made a comeback. Ribbons and bows and fabrics and Christmas slime. Oh, I'm not kidding. Gotta come see the queen of slime, the slime queen. Get your Christmas slime. And if you're thinking to yourself, Christmas starts so early every year, what about Thanksgiving? Look at this. They got some turkey gobbler hats right there. Gotta be careful because you never know which one of these booths is like, don't film our creations, but look at that. You got a bumble hat. I see some reindeer hats here. What is this, a Christmas donkey hat? Oh, this place has gone completely nuts. Here's something I've never seen before. Outside of the general store here on Market Street, custom Christmas dream catchers are the order of the day. I've never seen a dream catcher shaped like a moon before. Oh, and if you're not into Christmas, they got those little crowns from that movie Midsummer, you know? Don't watch that one, kids. Ooh, scented pine cones, scented fire starters, I believe is their purpose. You got those little steaming boysenberry pie, sort of scented potpourri things. Got all kinds of bags and fuzzy hats over here, little purses. Ooh, looks like some kind of little frocks and sweaters. Natural oils, bath and beauty products. And look at this over here, some grill rubs from the Old West Spice Company. Doña Barbara's treats are back. And look at this, they even have some Christmas piñatas out here this year. Coming to check on Ye Olde Bottle House. Something that did actually happen in the Old West. People using bottles cast out behind saloons as construction materials. You've got LGH Ceramics in there with their custom ceramic light-up Christmas trees. Just the way I remember it for the past, I don't know, 10 years or so, minus that little interruption we all had. I don't know how long I'm gonna stay in Knott's Merry Farm because I am heading out to Disneyland. Ooh, hold that thought for Christmas beef jerky and look at that right there, a freeze-dried platter of candy. Ooh, I want some now really bad. I was gonna say, I don't know how long I'm gonna stick around, but no trip to Knott's Merry Farm would be complete without seeing the Christmas tree. And of course, we got some Christmas cowboys serenading us into the night. Christmas in Calico Square. People are dancing here in the dark, illuminated by the Christmas tree. Look at this, the old steam engine number 41 is pulling into Calico Square. You never know when Santa's gonna be on board. Oh, that is loud. If you grew up in this area like I did, that's basically our Polar Express. All right, well, we'll leave these cowboys here to serenade these fine folks. Let's take a swing down School Street over here. Yes, all the streets in Knott's Berry Farm and in Ghost Town here have names. A lot of people still don't know that. We've been trying really hard the last 10, 12 years on Randomland at first and now spreading to other channels and other people to get people to know the history of this place and kind of create that same level of fandom for Knott's Berry Farm that you see with Disney history enthusiasts. It's a slow burn, but we're getting there, especially with the work of Chris Merritt writing that Knott's Preserved book or the Stax Liberty Ranch book collection. Very rare, but very good. We got our traditional Christmas jellyfish right here. Every single year I look for this and I am never disappointed. The Christmas jellyfish lamp. We got all kinds of custom blown glass ornaments. Very fancy, very expensive, all handmade. Christmas artwork over there. Christmas gems and crystals for your Christmas witchcraft. And then look at this right in between. This has been closed for a couple of weeks, but the Western Trails Museum is actually open out here on School Street so that people could come inside and learn about the Old West and look at some authentic Old Western artifacts. It is actually one of the best collections in Southern California. It used to be much bigger than it is at present. Over the years, a lot of the old collections that Knott's Berry Farm used to take care of have been sold off or gone missing. There's been a few auctions and things like that. I've traveled to a lot of Western-themed museums, and they still have quite an impressive collection in here. Look at this, dishes from a boarding house in Silverton, Colorado. Lots of stuff that was actually carried over the plains by settlers in their wagons. The old 1853 fire engine, doesn't get much older than that. A faro table, just like Wyatt Earp used to deal. Lots of miniatures and gems and geodes, even an old epic safe. I actually don't know what that thing is right there, but I'm glad my grandma didn't have one in her house when she used to spank us with her yardsticks. One thing I do know about and love to look at in here, right behind the Old West actual old school roulette table, how impressive is that, are some of the antique woodworking tools from the Old West. Now, as you know, I like to do a little woodworking myself. I like to dabble in a little bit of wood carving, so I love staring at those. And I love this. I love this diorama in here. How sick is that? All handmade, too. Amazing. This is a cool piece of Knott's Berry Farm history almost no one has ever seen. This is Paul von Kleben's model of the Transfiguration of Christ, something that was on full display at the little chapel by the lake that's long gone from Knott's Berry Farm now. But this is the actual model that he built to show how the blacklight effect would work. It looks like Jesus is opening his eyes. Perfect for Christmas, which reminds me that as merry as this museum is making me, we could see that pretty much anytime. Look at that live glass blowing demonstrations right next to the Yuba City Grist Mill where they have year-round glass blowing. Looks like they have some Christmas shooting games out here where you can win yourself a little stuffed Bob Ross. Yes, sir, it's all decked out for the holidays. The honey booth is back with its little buzzing bees over here. Oh, and look at this. What Christmas would be complete without these guys under your tree? Over here in the Birdcage Theater, the Gift of the Magi show and the Calico Christmas Carol are back. In the big theater over in the Roaring Twenties area, Snoopy is back with all his pals. Speaking of Snoopy, Camp Snoopy is all decorated, even though they're still under construction for the reimagined Camp Snoopy that's coming next year. And listen to that, the sound of Christmas chainsaws is in the air. It just wouldn't be Christmas without Knott's Berry Farm's chainsaws and all their wacky creations. I really wish I could afford that Ninja Turtle. That's pretty cool. The Gremlin probably a little more fitting for Christmas, but either way, these guys are so fast. They carve stuff so fast. I don't know if they just learn a pattern and then just keep repeating it or what, but they are maniacs at getting this stuff produced. My hand chiseling stuff, much slower process. So it might not be as productive, but I feel safer with my fingers not using a chainsaw. Look at this inside the big red barn over here called the Jeffries Barn it's a long story, but basically an old boxer. And look at this inside the big red barn at Knott's Berry Farm, the Jeffries Barn, named after former heavyweight boxing champion of the world at the turn of the last century, James J. Jeffries, I believe, who I believe also owned this barn at one point. Look at that. It's Santa Claus back there, meeting and greeting with all the children of Buena Park. Oh, isn't it glorious? It smells like cookies in here. They're baking up fresh cookies. Not too much has changed out here from years past, but at the same time, look how packed it is. Why mess with success? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what I always say. Break it first, then you can fix whatever you want, whenever you want. Looks like cookie decorating is still on offer. Plenty of little booths, even in the far recesses of Ghost Town. I missed the opening night of Merry Farm, which happened at the end of this past week because I had another shipment of the hot sauce that shall not be mentioned in this episode arrive at my house. Just checking to see if Ebenezer Scrooge's tombstone is back here in Boot Hill, and it is indeed back there, Ebenezer Scrooge. Nice to see ya. But anyways, I was determined not to fly to the East Coast without getting a little Merry Farm action, at least getting my eyes on the farm. The same as going for the opening of Christmas at Disneyland. Wasn't able to make it the first day because of the health reasons, but I just want to go and get eyes on it, just in case I don't get any other chance before I take off for Florida. Wait, I forgot to put in the crystals and some sage to cleanse them with. All right, well, Christmas has come to Calico. As you can see, there's a lot on offer this year here at Calico, including some Christmas ghosts playing the piano up there in the saloon. But I do have another hometown theme park to visit tonight, and if we don't take off now to try to see it, we might not make it at all, so let's jiggle. And we definitely can't let that happen. Look at this, as all the evening Christmas shows start, a little pressure has been relieved from Ghost Town itself. A lot of locals have been stopped a lot tonight by people that I know, I've known my whole life, people that I met because of Randomland, new strangers, new friends. Hi guys, hey, look at that, some new friends right over there. It has very much retained a sort of local vibe. And I don't like comparing the two because they're like mashed potatoes and gravy, right? Two completely different things that go together oh so very well. But we'll contrast this with post-COVID Disneyland in just a little bit and do a little local vibe check on the happiest place on earth. Always good vibes at Knott's Merry Farm, always. The spirit of Christmas is strong with this place. Truth be told, I almost didn't make it into Knott's Merry Farm tonight because the parking lot was absolutely packed. I mean, people circling for hours kind of thing. That's why I parked over at the mall over there. You're not supposed to do that, but it was a quick in and out. Do not follow my example. Do not risk getting towed. Luckily, this little marketplace at the mall kind of covered me, right? Provided the perfect smoke screen. I think I got away with it. All right, time to head down the street to Knott's Berry Farm's much wealthier, much younger neighbor. And on the way, I switched cars, grabbed the old Justang over here, as some of you like to call it. Putting a lot of work into that car, trying to get it roadworthy again. All right, let's get back in there so I can say those words we all long to hear. All right, we're back at Disneyland. I keep forgetting that this giant thing is here. The 70th anniversary of Disneyland was exciting stuff when it happened sort of in the late spring, early summer. But compared to the 50th and the 60th, it landed sort of flat. Or maybe I should say the excitement fizzled out quickly, at least for me anyways. Not the excitement of going to Disneyland. That is evergreen. Just the excitement of the celebration itself. It is crazy to think though that this is Disneyland's 70th Christmas. I hope I make it to mine. That won't be till 2053, which sadly doesn't seem all that far away now. Oh, this is great. I was worried I was gonna walk in like right during a parade or something. Instead, we've got this lovely band playing some Christmas tunes. Town square's looking amazing. We've got some Disney characters wandering around here. Look at that very merry Mickey over here. I love seeing Mickey Mouse. Man, I don't know what the parade schedule is like right now. I don't even know if they're doing the Christmas parade at night or if they're still keeping Paint the Night going. I doubt they're keeping Paint the Night because I see the garlands across Main Street. It's a lot more calm and quiet in here than I was expecting after the chaos of Knott's Berry Farm's. Go sound like a Pluto over there, hugging a bunch of kids, and take a gander at Main Street, USA. Man, last time I was here, Winky Blinky Pumpkin Mickey was still here at the foot of Main Street, USA. Now the giant Christmas tree is back. 60 feet tall is that artificial tree right there. They used to use live cut trees every year until 2008. Ever since then, it's been the same Christmas tree pulled out of storage every year. This is probably actually a good time for me to mention that if you're interested in Disneyland Christmas history, last year we did an episode about Disneyland's greatest lost Christmas decoration, the giant star on top of the Matterhorn, something that there were rumors they would bring back for the 70th, but they had those same rumors for the 100th anniversary of the Disney Company, for the 60th of Disneyland. Those rumors keep on swirling and never coming to fruition. Ah, look at Mickey there, Santa Mickey. Gosh, look at this. Main Street USA at Christmas time has to be the most beautiful version of Main Street USA. Everything from the cozy Christmas window displays to the garlands hung across the road, the added Christmas lights and garlands, the wreaths on every gas lamp. And my favorite thing is all the ornaments that are decking the halls of Main Street USA. Look at this, they're on every garland. Look at that Santa right there. Each one of those has to be hand-picked by somebody and then installed here on Main Street every single year. Look at Santa's list over here. Ooh, looks like Jesse's on the good list. I love these sort of vintage, or at least vintage looking Christmas storybooks down there. Those look like props to me, not like real books, but that's still so cool. The stockings hung over the bookcase with care. You know, just in case you know somebody that might have a interior decorating degree or some design experience, this is a job here at Disneyland. You can actually have a career doing all of this decorating, and the people who do it here are the absolute very best. Now, I just said that Christmas on Main Street USA is the best version of Main Street USA. That is true with one exception, of course. Christmas on Main Street USA at Disneyland Paris. Now that is my go-to Christmas park. Although next to that, for me, nothing can top the original. Although I hate to say this, I must say this though, if we're comparing Knott's Berry Farm to Disneyland, the vibe has changed in recent years. Just in the sense that, like I was telling you, Knott's Berry Farm, I just saw a whole bunch of locals, people I've met over and over again. Disneyland has always had a little bit more of an out-of-town audience. Mostly because a lot of people that live out of state or out of the country don't even know that Knott's Berry Farm exists. At the same sort of level that people know about Disneyland, of course. But also, ever since the pandemic, you need a reservation to come into Disneyland, even if you can still afford an annual pass. It's definitely had an effect on the culture out here. The local culture, I mean. Like, Allie and I used to pop down here every night. Once the crowds would thin out and people would start making their way out, we'd always come down here, get some food, wander around, come see a bunch of our friends doing the same thing that lived in the neighborhood. And I get it, things change. Disneyland is much more popular now in the era of social media and this strange TikTok world timeline that we've entered into. But I still do sort of very much miss that local camaraderie out here. Still, there's no place like home any way I can grab onto it. And as I was born and raised so close to this park that you could literally shoot a potato gun at it, how's that for a measurement of distance? It really does feel like coming back home whenever I enter this park. I know everybody feels that about Disneyland, right? Everybody's got great childhood memories of Disneyland, or at least most sort of hardcore Disneyland fans do. Even people who grew up very far away. Maybe they grew up watching The Wonderful World of Disney or other shows about the parks over here. But for me, I mean it in a very literal sense, you know? My mom's parents' house was just across the street. That's where we grew up, having all of our Christmases and our family dinners and all that kind of stuff. They're long gone and passed away now. But I mean, they literally lived like 50 yards from Disney property, right? So it's the same sort of air, the same sort of smells, the sound of fireworks in the air every night, the same old fireworks. I don't want to get all choked up and extra emotional, so I'll leave it there, but you get the idea, right? It very much viscerally has the sense of home. Oh, this is cool. Look at the little peppermint Mickey light-up wand at this booth right here. Got your Christmas cotton candy and your Christmas popcorn. It's so weird, though. I mean, it's crowded. There's tons of people here, but it's very, very, very mellow. What's going on? I guess the spirit of the season has got into everybody's heart. Nobody's trampling each other. Maybe Christmas 2025 is the year we're finally going to have peace on earth and goodwill towards men. Or maybe the crowds are just busy until the parades come and then everybody will be stomping on each other again. We'll see. But yeah, the Christmas season is young out here, and so you'd think the park would be just as packed on a Sunday evening. I have no data to back this up, but just my gut feeling is that it's the result of that reservation system still. Not a big fan. To be fair, on a day like today, without them, it would be even more packed. But then on the flip side, without them, you'd still have those beautiful empty days where you show up and you're like, where is everybody? This is awesome. Got the whole park to myself. Look at that beautiful castle right there. We'll get closer after the fireworks crowd disperses in a little bit. Let's head into Frontierland for just a minute here. I just found out that indeed the Christmas Fantasy Parade is limited to the daytime only this season, which is for the best. I love nighttime parades at Disneyland, but I have to say they're getting more and more crowded and crazy. They are quite the impediment to foot traffic, so that provides a little bit of relief. People are lined up out there for the projection shows on the castle and the fireworks that are coming up, so still plenty of nighttime entertainment. No parade at the moment. I was just thinking 70 years ago, if you came to Disneyland, this would be the #1 Christmas present you'd want. I need a Davy Crockett coonskin cap. Now people rush over here to get the new Spirit jerseys and all the new mini ears and everything. They always have such an amazing selection of Christmas merchandise. And that includes, of course, Disneyland's latest crazy collaboration, the Crocs. Look at this. They got some lined Crocs. They got woolly lined Crocs. The old classic Disneyland Christmas light-up necklace, a staple at the parks for the last decade plus. Christmas hoodies, Christmas ears. Look at this. Little baby Mickey Christmas plush. That reminds me of those Muppet Babies plush. They had, what was it, Burger King in the 80s for Christmas? Oh, this is kind of cool. Look at this. Kind of a winter bucket hat with some Mickey ears on it. They got your Pluto reindeer cap. For a second, I thought this was a magic band. It's a little snap bracelet. I miss Christmases at the old family homestead here in Anaheim. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. Look at the little baby Christmas sweater. And then look at this little baby Christmas outfit with the little woolly overalls? I keep saying woolly. That's not the right word. And then what in the hello operator is this? A giant Mickey snowman blow molded plastic ornament that I almost dropped. Oh, good thing it didn't break. You break it, you buy it. Oh, I didn't even see this. I think this might be my favorite piece of Christmas merch. So look at that. That's cute. Oh, this Christmas Disney merch is awesome. I think that's what I love about having Knott's Merry Farm so close for the variety of being able to have, in a lot of cases, like locally made goods, handmade stuff, custom made stuff out there at their little marketplace. I guess you could say it's different strokes for different folks, but I like all the strokes. And you know what else I like? I love to shoot some targets at Christmas. I got Allie one of those Buena things, so we've been shooting targets in our backyard for Christmas. Well, actually, I didn't get it. Her dad got it for her. I just practiced with it first. I was helping her learn how to use it. Oh, look at this. I didn't even think about this. It's the first Christmas, and hopefully not the last Christmas, for the Frontierland souvenir ticket office over here, where if you have your Magic Band, you can still get those souvenir tickets for the 70th anniversary. I just love seeing all the little Mark Twain references over here on this shelf. Definitely still a big old Twainiac, that is for sure. Uh-oh, folks, we're in a bad neighborhood. Looks like we found Frontierland's red light district. I heard this is where they got them hurdy-gurdy houses. I always like to peek inside the Golden Horseshoe, one of the most beautiful buildings at Disneyland, severely underrated. I hope one day they bring back the Golden Horseshoe Review, one of the longest running live shows of all time. Took place right in here, right in Disneyland. Walt Disney had wedding anniversaries in here and private parties. Just absolutely gorgeous. Built by all those old-timey set designers and Disney artists that are still around at the Disney studios when Walt was planning this place. Just picture perfect still To this day, got a little Christmas tree up there on the stage. It's nice. Now, normally I'm a lot plugged in with what's going on in the mean streets of Disneyland and Frontierland over here. I'd be able to tell you at least a little bit about the new treats or entertainment or the changes that have happened from year to year. I've been out of the loop with the health stuff, so I feel like an out-of-towner. In fact, like I mentioned, this is the first reservation I could get to the park during the holiday season so far. I haven't even seen this amazing Christmas popcorn bucket yet. Ooh, so this is where everybody's at. Look at this. They're lined up on the Rivers of America to see the fireworks and the Christmas show here. I'm just happy I was able to make it down here. It does not feel like Christmas to me until I've at least touched base with Christmas at Disneyland. By the way, I found out they're not just lined up for fireworks, they're also still doing Fantasmic, which is a much better explanation for all the ropes and the weird colored flashlights all the cast members have getting ready to direct that traffic. Look at this. Look at New Orleans Square. Just love these absolutely brilliant, beautiful old trees they've got out here with those huge decorations, the little French-style balconies with all the Christmas lights. And speaking of lights, look at these festive pirate swords. Oh, these are cool. I've never noticed these before. Those are amazing. No Jack and Sally in here at the moment. Looks like they're taking a well-deserved break, but don't worry, Fortune Red is still here, one of the OG pirates of New Orleans Square. Oh, watch out for that elevator traffic in here. Definitely don't want to get in the way of restocking the merchandise. Yeah, I feel like New Orleans Square is always such an underappreciated part of Disneyland, even by me, really. It's so well done, and it was one of the last big additions to the park that was a personal project of Walt's. He really spared no expense, not just capturing the look and feel of New Orleans, but also just going the extra mile with that craftsmanship, you know, that antebellum craftsmanship all over that city, capturing that sense of wealth and opulence, which is exactly why Club 33 fits right into this place. If you know, you know, the old secret club that's not so secret these days. I guess we can talk about this here at Disneyland. It's a little safe to mention. They've got a Club 33 in Florida too, but in Florida, you're not allowed to tell people you've been there. You're not allowed to hashtag it, take pictures, nothing. It's much more of a secret club there still. Look at all the fancy glass stuff in this store and all this bedazzled stuff. All of this used to totally fascinate me as a kid, right? Like, I didn't collect glass as a child, but whenever I came into one of these stores, I wanted to. And I think part of that is just the rich opulence of the way this was all constructed. Look at that. The molding, the stenciling on the ceiling, the old school mirrored walls, the fact that Lillian Disney, Walt's wife, was so involved in making sure everything was so realistic, you know? You had all these hand-painted glass started by Glendra von Kessel and then finished by Dorothea Redmond, who was a concept designer and illustrator for things like Gone with the Wind. I mean, the best of the best. You also have those hand-laid mosaics in the floor. Supposedly, the Marie Antoinette perfumery over here was personally overseen by Lillian Disney, so she definitely pushed Walt to spare no expense there. Look at this. Look at the hand-painted tiles on the drinking fountain right here, and you see this, like, cast iron backing. That cast iron backing piece is a perfect example of them actually scouring up real antiques to use at Disneyland. Supposedly imported from France, and I've always loved this little marble pedestal so that kids could stand on it and reach up and have a drink right here. There's so many things like that where there's a story behind each piece of artwork from the old Walt Disney days before it all just became kind of common theme park retheming. Now, there are a lot of projects that Disney will still spare no expense for, send their artists and Imagineers all over the world to get pieces for. But there's something about those original Walt Disney days, right, when no one had ever really done that before. It just makes Disneyland, especially New Orleans Square, so special, so opulent. Look at that right there. Absolutely terrifying. Hey, look, Sally's favorite kind of lipstick. They're selling that in here now. Look at this creepy. This thing is creeping me out. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I love the angel out here in front of the old court of angels. Now the entrance to Club 33. Weirdly been in there a couple of times this year. Not normal for me, as I am, contrary to rumor, not a member. Though I'd like to be. I would definitely like to be. If I was a member, I'd take random people up there with me all the time. You know when you have like looky-loos outside that are just dreaming, like, what's it like in there? I just grab them, be like, come on, come check it out. Oh yeah, packed over here. Definitely a lot of people tonight. Magnolia Park over here is full of people trying to get on the train at New Orleans Square. Look at that platform is jammed. Ooh, look at this. This is a small detail, but the first time I'm ever seeing this. I like these garlands, these light up garlands around these poles. It's amazing what they're able to do with just plastic these days. So strange. I'm still not quite used to this new area, this new version of Magnolia Park that they've added in here since the updated Haunted Mansion queue, the line over here. I can't ever remember even specifically looking at it during Christmas time, so this is amazing, kind of new. And of course, right next door, the Haunted Mansion holiday is still going strong. Quite a line right now, but so there always is. I see a growing number of people agreeing with me, finally, that like, oh, I wish the regular Haunted Mansion would be there during Halloween. I wish the Haunted Mansion wouldn't get taken over by Jack Skellington for quite so long. I always used to say maybe they should like put it away for 2 years, bring it back every 3rd year or something like that. But that's still very much a minority opinion, as you can tell from the lines every year. People love this thing. Okay, that's not too bad. 45 minutes, that's doable, that's doable. I may circle back on that. Mostly I don't usually get in lines for the rides. I'm just sort of wandering around by myself. I'm just one of those people who appreciates Disneyland as a park, you know. Sometimes I just like to come here and wander around, look at the trees, the different types of lampposts, the theming, the environment of it all. That's what separates Disneyland from all the competitors that went before, and all of the cheap roller coaster parks that have come after. That attention to detail, that design baked into everything. And in a hard segue away from that notion, here we've got Madame Leota's somewhere beyond the big old barn here next to the Haunted Mansion now. The Haunted Mansion gift shop that almost looks bigger than the Haunted Mansion itself when you're up close to it. It's a fair attempt. It's got some interesting design elements to it. Still strange to me. Part of it's that it's still so new that I'm not used to it. I think another part of it is that a lot of the props and stuff in it haven't aged yet. Maybe they just need a little more patina on them, right? I love Madame Leota's living room up there and her cat. Look at that creepy cat up there in the armchair just staring with its soulless dead eyes. I love these blow molds. I never managed to pick one of these up. Not in the budget right now, but I hope to get one of these someday. These are really cool. They definitely did need a place dedicated to Haunted Mansion merch that was a little larger than what they used to have here before. And I have to say, I gotta give them compliments. Shout out props. They have been putting some bangarang pieces of merchandise in here. Ooh, I don't like that. Ooh, I like this better. Roosevelt's. Like, look at those little bags right there. The Haunted Mansion swag has been coming out really good lately. A lot of Ouija boards. I thought I'd see those at Disneyland. Look at that little piece of stained glass right there. I like that a lot. I was just doing a little investigating, seeing if they had any sort of new Christmas-themed Haunted Mansion merch. I don't really see much. There's some cool Haunted Mansion ornaments down there I wish I had. Oh, no, they're not even ornaments. This is a little figure set. Okay, that is sick. 40 bucks? I mean, for Disneyland, that is a really good price. I'm pretty into that. Finally, my favorite ghost, the little mummy, and his friend. Hey, what's that? Well, the hey, what's that guy's not here, but the mummy, he's finally getting his just desserts. And look at that, the caretaker. Finally, a caretaker figure. I want that. I'm guessing that'll be here for a while, so no hurry on that. But look at this cute little golden book, storybook they have now. And look at this little shoulder pal, or whatever they're called. Look at the little guy, little gargoyle from inside the stretching room. I love that Disney started doing these retro little golden books again, starting with reprinting the Little Man of Disneyland, the leprechaun that once appeared in an ancient little golden book who had his own little house in Adventureland at Disneyland. I did a video on that in 2014 before they resurrected it, and they resurrected it the next year, gave him a new little house out there. Weird coincidence. Or was it a coincidence? So weird, dude. Tiana's still a very strange sight to me. Still not used to seeing that here. But if some people still haven't got on the new ride here that replaced Splash Mountain, it's probably the best time of year to do it. The line is probably pretty short right now on a night like this. Especially since, as you can see, the crowds have moved away from this area. They're headed towards Fantasmic and the castle for the fireworks. I don't really feel like getting the old windbreaker wet. But you know what? This does make me realize it's probably a perfect time for some heffalumps and woozles. Sometimes it's just perfect time for a poo, you know what I mean? So let's get our little busy bee bottoms into the former home of the country bears. It's one of my favorite little spots from the old bear country. This little creek right here with these little miniature houses always reminds me of Wind in the Willows. And another favorite thing of mine that nobody ever talks about, Owl's house out here in the tree. I love that. Don't you, honey? Look, I wish the country bears could stay forever just as much as anybody did, but if they had to replace it, I love that they replaced it with another dark ride, especially one that gives a nod to an old classic Disney favorite, Disney's interpretation of Winnie the Pooh. Plus, it's always nice to have something else trippy in here besides just Alice in Wonderland. I mean, heffalumps and woozles, what's better than that? Oh, and then the best thing of all right through this doorway. Some friends of ours are still here. Look at that, it's Melvin, Buff, and Max. They're still here, right behind Winnie the Pooh on the ride. Now that is cause for celebration indeed. Oh, Allie hates this part with the beehives outside. She hates the noise they make. It's too realistic. Now, if you've never read the original stories, the original Pooh from A.A. Milne, I highly recommend them. Some of the coziest, cutest stories ever. Same with Wind in the Willows, as a matter of fact. Good little comfort stories. Those are both sort of well known. A little more obscure is the Burgess books. Anybody ever heard of those? You know, Peter Cottontail and all that? You guys know about that? Buster the Bear? Ah, gosh, Rivers of America is my favorite thing ever at Disneyland. Actually, speaking of Fantasmic, it's pretty cool after that when you see the riverboat coming by here. Which actually, we might as well wait for. Gotta sit out here for a little bit. Let your eyes adjust to the darkness, and then amazing things happen along the waterfront right here across from the Hungry Bear restaurant. Actually, before we even get to the Mark Twain, look at this through the darkness. Here comes the Columbia with Peter Pan aboard. There's just something awesome about seeing it glide back here in the darkness with a couple of pirates still up in the rigging. Look at that, there's Captain Hook right there and a couple of motley pirates looking at the guests over there off the side of the road, as it were. I love Captain Hook, look at him. Oh, and there's Peter Pan right there. Hook, Hook, give us the hook. Yes. Oh, that's weird, I should have stayed where I was. They weren't unloading, I don't know what they were unloading. They unloaded something, but not all the cast members. Look at this, here they are right there. Yes, Captain Hook. And there's Peter Pan down there. Hello, Peter. And those motley pirates. Where in the world is Mr. Smee, though? Where's Mr. Smee? I just like it when the Columbia becomes the Jolly Roger, you know? Anyway, there they go, off to Neverland. Mickey's fighting that big old dragon as we speak, so pretty soon, the Mark Twain will be heading our way. It's cool seeing all the boats glide by in the dark. Nuts to the darkness, though. Let's see if we can get a closer look along the little secret path over here by the old Splash Mountain. I need to see Steamboat Willie. Oh yeah, I forgot there is no dragon. Because remember the old dragon burned down, but Mickey's gonna strike at Maleficent right there and smite her with his imagination. I miss his little sword that he used to have, you know, kind of brave little tailor looking Mickey. Oh, Fantasmic. At least they still have fire, yes! Christmas fire! Smite her, Mickey. Smite her. Oh, she's been smitten. Smitten! Ooh, and now we should get what we're after. Up here we go. There's Steamboat Willie Mickey with all his friends. And all those characters are still on the boat when it rounds the bend over here. It's the best. Look at this. Even when they're not fully illuminated, the characters are still dancing on that boat until they round the river bend. Here they are. Look at that. Some of them have gone into hiding. Some of them are just standing on the deck. It's kind of creepy, kind of surreal, but kind of amazing. Steamboat Willie disappears there. Whoa! From the head of the ship. But look at that, I can see Tweedledum, Tweedledee, Dopey! Dopey! I see Goofy, Pluto. Look at that, everybody's on board. All your favorite friends. A little more dimly lit than they are out at the main show over there. But there they are, creeping off into the darkness to infinity and beyond. Ah, some imagination, huh? Woo! I love that. That's like a Tightwad Hill Fantasmic experience. And as they float off into the darkness, I think I'll follow their path because the fireworks are about to begin any second. I didn't line up for a great viewing area, but it's always nice to walk through Fantasyland during the fireworks, if you can. Goodbye, Disney friends! All right, we've showed up in the most festive land of them all, Star Wars Land. That's a little bit sarcastic, although they do celebrate Life Day out here now. I really don't want to say this because it's going to make people mad, but it's the truth. I am not a fan of that. I am not a fan of Life Day in the parks. I love the holiday special. When you had to like go to a comic book store and persuade the guy to sell you a bootleg copy when it was hard to see and obscure and weird. And only the hardest core nerds kind of really knew what it was. Now that it's become a thing that Disney like sort of openly promotes, I'm like, I'm just not interested, you know? Not to sound like a hipster, I liked it before it was cool. I don't mean it in that kind of way. I don't know, it's just less fun, you know? This is kind of cool though. I'm not gonna stay back here, but it is cool how they play like completely different music in this part of the park and turn it into a Star Wars fireworks show, you know? People love that, and I appreciate it. Not as Christmassy as your traditional fireworks show, but that's okay. It's just so funny because you'll leave Star Wars Land, and if we can make it to Fantasyland in time, we'll hear Christmas music during these same fireworks. Kind of a nice touch. Kind of a nice touch. Ah, look at that Life Day merchandise. Like right here in Florida at the Hollywood Studios Christmas party. Life Day, Chewbacca will be out there. We shall see, we shall see. And don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on Life Day. I'm just not as interested in it as I used to be. Let's put it that way. Just popping out here into the Old West. I can hear the Christmas music coming from the rest of the park. But I like those spots where you can't hear any music at all. It's just boom from the fireworks. Reminds me of growing up and being across the road on David Street, just watching the fireworks every night without the benefit of the Disney music. That's just the way I grew up loving them. Some faint traces of Christmas music making their way back here, wafting along on the breeze. I know it sounds weird, but this is the way I like to watch the fireworks. I like to walk around and stay mobile during them. Just something about walking around that makes them a little bit more three-dimensional to me. Oh, wow, look at that. Whoa! Wow, there's really not that big of a crowd back here in Fantasyland for the fireworks tonight. Perfect spot, perfect spot. Sorry if the audio is getting clipped down too. This camera hates loud noises. So cool, the very first night Allie and I ever hang out was back here watching the fireworks. That was awesome. If we were on the other side of that castle, right now we'd be hearing soft music and then the snow would fall out there in the hub and on Main Street. I love closed Fantasyland. I just love seeing it empty. It's so weird. Oh, hey, look at this. Monstro's back. Got a nice fresh coat of paint on him. He went to a rejuvenation clinic. Took about 30 years off his life. Change of blood. Nice to see Storybook Land and Casey Jr. reopen. Gosh, perfect time to go on the teacups. Pro tip, go during the fireworks. Oh, and look at this. We're even catching a little bonus Christmas snow, our second snow of the evening. Back here in front of It's a Small World, where people were watching the fantastic Christmas, what's the word I'm looking for here? Projections. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Just nice taking a loop around Disneyland after taking a wander through Knott's Merry Farm. A little Christmas double dip to inspire me to go full Christmas. I wish Allie was here. Only 30 minutes for the Matterhorn? Heck yes. There was a couple years in a row in the 90s where my mom made us all come out to Disneyland for New Year's Eve. Back when most nights were sort of peaceful, pleasant, and manageable, but there was no reservations, so New Year's Eve at Disneyland was chock-a heaving full. I mean, crazy. Look at that monorail fly right there. Shout out to Bob Gurr. Those were crazy times. People stepping all over each other. That's why I always think the reservation system should only be for those crazy days, right? Middle of summer, 2 or 3 weeks surrounding Christmas, those types of things. Those are the times where they help, even though I get a little annoyed that I can't get a reservation sometimes. Or in this case tonight, I got one, and annoyingly, Allie couldn't get one. Those are super first world problems. Like, I could live with those, you know. I would just love to be able to pop back in the shoulder seasons, just on a whim at 11 p.m. type of thing. Or have a few good to-go days like they have in Florida, you know? Days when you know the other locals are gonna be out here, you get that sense of community back. Wishful thinking, I know, but it's Christmas. It's the perfect season for wishing. Oh, this has been great. As much as I'm loving this, though, something about Christmas time and wandering around by myself at Disneyland flashes me back to the days where I was getting divorced, walking around here all brokenhearted at Christmas. My first old lonely Christmas. I am really missing Allie at this point. For some reason, I love Christmas in Tomorrowland. Tomorrowland never goes full Christmas, but what little they do. It's always so cool. It gives me so much hope. We're gonna have Christmas in the future. All right, as much as I'd love to get some gluten-free fries or pizza from here, that hasn't been very safe for me to eat out really anywhere. It's the health stuff that I'm trying not to talk about. It's hard not to mention at this stage in my day, because this is where I start to get really weak and dizzy. They've been trying to convince me to get a blood transfusion. I have a friend who had a very, very similar thing. It was in the band with me back in the old band days. He's like, dude, you gotta get one. After I got mine, I felt like a superhero. Just trying to avoid it. I may go to the doctor tomorrow, we'll see. It makes it sound so serious. I mean, I guess it is somewhat serious, but it doesn't feel like it's that serious, you know? Ooh, another popcorn bucket right behind me I didn't notice. Look at that. A little gingerbread house. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. It's gonna be weird being in Florida for basically all of December. Or all of the parts of December where I'm normally doing stuff. Shout out to Imagineer Tom Morris for the Neon Mickeys, by the way. What's up, Tom? We might miss out on some of our usual Christmas traditions, which always involve Allie making gingerbread houses that fall apart in hilarious comedic fashion. We tried to do gluten-free ones one year so I could do it too. It just crumbled apart. Are there like traditional like tropical Christmas activities or like Florida weather activities for Christmas? I guess I gotta find out, you know? Is there like a traditional Christmas gator hunt or something in the swamp? Oh, that's weird, I said that. Now I just have a craving to see some alligators. All right, guys, well, we're making our way towards the castle. I want to see that beautiful post-fireworks show castle all lit up in its full Christmas glory. And I think we'll leave it there for one day. I still have a lot of hot sauce to ship out. And as you can imagine, we want to make sure we ship it all out before we leave for another stage. There's still a very tiny handful of bottles left from this particular batch that can go out before Christmas, get to you before Christmas. And then the next batch of pre-orders won't ship until after Christmas, right after Christmas. So if you're urgently craving something spicy and green, hey, how about that? It is a Christmas color. Make sure you go to randomland.com and order that very soon. Look at that. Oh, what a beautiful sight. Just wish Allie was here with me. Luckily, she will be here with me later on this week. So this is not the last of our Disneyland Christmas adventures before we head off on an airplane to parts unknown. Next time we come back, we'll ride Small World Holiday. We'll get on Haunted Mansion Holiday. We'll pack in all the holidays. For right now, I think it's time to go home and enjoy a movie, maybe Home Alone or Home Alone 2, pack up some hot sauce bottles, do my duty, lay my head down on that sweet, sweet pillow. All right, so comparing Christmas at Disneyland to Christmas at Knott's Merry Farm, Disneyland obviously packs a bigger punch in terms of budget and maybe some nostalgia, you know, with all the Disney property they can kind of include in their Christmas celebration. If you've got loved ones with you here at the park, or you've arranged to meet friends, you have your partner here, so, you know, you bring some locals, some camaraderie with you, then Disneyland at Christmas is great. But if you want that local flavor, you know, you want to bump into people you know, if you're from this area, or you're just looking for something a little more homespun, then Knott's Merry Farm is definitely the pick. However, any way you slice it, I think we've proved today that if you can have both, that's the ultimate way to go. Double Christmas in Southern California. I think we nailed it. Sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, I want to wish you a very happy holiday season. It's been really tough for me physically the end of this year. There's been times where I get very grouchy and very tired. Not to mention absolutely panicked and stressed out about money, about filming, not being able to be out on my feet as much as I normally would be. They can't operate on me until the new year. In fact, I still don't have a firm surgery day, so I can't really control my circumstances at the moment. I can mostly control my reaction to them, right? Quest for positivity style. So I'm looking for that rainbow in the clouds, those silver linings, and it's not a bad place to look for them out here at Disneyland. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me all the way to the very end. If you didn't see it, check out our last adventure to Alien Fresh Jerky the other day. Spread a little Christmas cheer. Share this video with your friends. Give it a fat thumbs up. All those things are free. And if you want to give me a Christmas present, just head over to randomland.com. Maybe check out some of the merch or join our Patreon or our Facebook group. A lot of nice, friendly people in there. For those of you who are regulars, I appreciate you and love you very much. And if you're new here, welcome, and please have a very, very Merry Christmas, all of you. Now that we've said and done all that, we've done our duty. It's time to go home and sleep well. See you next time. And until then, my friends, keep on believing. Whenever they wheel those away after the fireworks or parades, I know they're full of snacks and ice. It always looks like, oh, they're taking the casualties out. They got them on ice. Just like Walt? Oh no! Good night, Christmas tree, Walt. And thanks.
First the wind, and now this.
Day-o, Christmas day-o. Daylight come and me won't go home.